Greetings and welcome back to Switch2Linux. Well, we will be talking today about Silicon Valley censorship, and it looks like we were probably censored because there's only 9 people on here, and I usually start with at least 20 or 30. Oh, there goes the kitty. Kitty's like, I'm out of here, yo, what's up? Alright, so, greetings. Hey, we're back up to 15. Woohoo! Woohoo! Alright, so, let's see who's online for today. We got Quint. Hello, y'all. Yeah, Quint was early on. You know, it took me like about an hour of looking at different things to decide what do I want to do. There's a neat Smart City article, but like, you know what? I beat Smart Cities to death within the last little bit. And I'm like, is there a distro I could review? I want to get some Nextcloud stuff in, but I need to rebuild part of a server, and too lazy on a Saturday anyway. And so I was like, you know what? There's some interesting, fun things that happened in the censorship world, I think yesterday, in fact. So let's just go ahead and chat a little bit about some of these. All right, so Surge is on. Greetings, Surge. Farron OS. How's it going there, Farron? And the kitty is looking at the kitty cam. No, wait, come back, come back. All right. All right, good evening, Alice. It is afternoon where I am. Alright. Let's see. In for censorship. Snazzy Butterfly. Greetings. You're looking snazzy today. Ryan Coin. How's it going? We're going to coin that term. In the process of securely erasing a Windows hard drive and replacing it with Endless OS. That might take forever. I'm just full of bad puns today, apparently. There will be a Slackware Current live stream at the end of the month on EB's channel. Very cool, very cool. Kitty is too cool for school. That's right. In English? Okay, that's, I think, for Surge. I think some of those streams are in French. Are they French or English, Surge? Let's see. Is the censorship refers to hugs? No. We can hug the Linux code all we want. We're just getting weirder. Let's hug all the evil out of the world. That's right. Hug all the evil out of the world so they can turn around and put the knife right in your back while you're distracted. Guys, there is actually still evil in this world. I mean, that's it. Trying to set up P-Box. All right, Chinese-style censorship. Funny. Our first article is actually from Quartz. Censorship, basically taglining censorship, you know, in the open Western world is potentially just as bad as censorship in China. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Good luck. The install may never end. That is right. It is an endless install process. Hello from Ukraine. Thanks for the videos. Create some Bitcoin or Monero wallet for donations. I've been looking into it. Well, I've been inquiring to some other people that know more about it than I do. I might get there eventually. I don't know. I'm not sold on the whole cryptocurrency issue, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Did 3 times, twice in English with EB and Derek, and once in French with Adrian. Oh, good. Very cool. So there's 3 different instances of that. Very good. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Why am I still on KDE 4? Stability. Okay. I don't know. I find KDE 5 with Plasma. I find it very stable as long as I'm not having to use Kodi with Debian. So KDE Plasma on Debian when you have to use Kodi, that introduces some instability. I haven't found instability any other places. I'll have to try some other KDE versions that are not Debian and see if it's KDE and Kodi or if it's something else. Didn't get notifications in a long time. Yeah, sad. Yeah. Apparently I'm getting unsubbed and things. I'm a controversial figure, I guess. I don't know. Too much fire. Plasma 5 is really stable too. In my experience using 5.14, plus it's lightweight for Plasma. Yep. I want to put the telemarketers in an endless loop of hold music. Ooh, that'd be fun. Please hold. We'll be right with you. Your scam is important to us. Please hold for the next available scammer. All right. So what's going on in Silicon Valley censorship? Well, there's I raised the alarm, of course. I don't follow Alex Jones. I think he's a Fruit Loop, but I don't necessarily agree with his deplatforming. And I spoke about that, and with the famous quote that was popularized by Bonhoeffer. It was actually written by another poet that Bonhoeffer stole it from, but it says, first they came for the trade unionists, but I said nothing because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for, I believe it was it the socialists next? I said nothing for I was not a socialist. Then they came for the blacks. I did not say anything. I was not black. And now they're coming for me, and there's no one left to speak for me. And that's the thing, is that this censorship, whether it's from complete payment deplatforming or whether it's from, just kicking people off of just platforms in general, it starts with the lunatic fringe and then it erodes its way in until the only people left are the people agreeing with their ideologies. And that's a problematic thing. Because what ends up happening is that free speech itself is eroded away, and it starts with some radical things. I mean, look at what they're trying to do in the United States with encryption. They're trying to tie encryption to the shooters. They're trying to tie encryption to the terrorists. They're trying to tie the encryption to the illegal pornographers. So that if you take the side to say, no, we need to keep strong encryption, you're like, what are you, a terrorist or a pedophile or something? And that's not necessarily the case. There's legitimate reasons to use encryption. I use my drives with all personal data on them are all encrypted because I don't want some burglar to break in, steal my computer, and have access to everything that I have. There's legitimate reasons to have encryption, okay? That's what I'm talking about. And what they're trying to do with this censorship is they're trying to find first the most radical people, use that as an excuse, and then normalize deplatforming people. And there's been some interesting articles about it. So this one is from September from Quartz. Censorship could be just as common in an open internet as in a closed one. In other words, we're beating on China too much. Like, oh, this bad China, they're censoring their internet. Guys, our internet is getting just as censored. Okay, if you're not on Google, you don't exist, which is a scary thing. I don't use Google. Of course, I use StartPage, which utilizes Google algorithms. I'm not sure if the newer one does. I'm not sure if the newer one is a change in their search functionality or if it's a change in their just their theming UI. But the reality is, if Google kicks you off of the website, then you're off of the internet, effectively. I mean, Google is, I think, the #1 search engine. YouTube is the #2 search engine, which is also controlled by Google, of course. So there's a lot of danger, a lot of challenges in this. And so digging into this story, of course, they says, what happens next? A complete guide to understanding the future. More predictions about future of fact. So that'll be an interesting series to dive into. We're not going to dive into that today, though. We're going to look at this one. The internet, often known as our digital public square, but like any space, it is never neutral. It must have politics. And this inherently is the problem. Now, politics divide and other things divide as well. But the challenge with this is that anytime you introduce a public square, you have people of differing opinions, and then people of differing opinions may or may not want to get along with each other one way or another, and this is a problematic thing. But they say here, we stand at the crossroads of contention around internet governance, and the politics are being called into question and reshaped. Will the internet's town square be like Tiananmen Square, which I don't know where that one is, locked down behind barriers, checkpoints, and under heavy surveillance, where any hint of public dissonance gets swept away? In other words, are we a place where we're walking into it, we are completely censored, we have to conform, or, to quote from Rush, conform or be cast out? That's the thing we're getting to. That's not a prophetic song. Of course, that had more to do with adolescence and youth and growing up, but that is the song It is a song, Subdivisions, from the album Signals. I think it was early 80s, like 82, 83 maybe. One of those lines is conform or be cast out. Now they're talking there about the youth culture in that song, conform to your youth culture or be cast out. But it is that as that generation has grown up and is now informing the politics and the public discourse, now we are in a situation where if you don't conform to their viewpoints, because they have been so pampered their whole life into believing that they are the center of the universe, and if you don't conform, you are simply cast out. And that's where we're going. So is the internet going to be more like this Square where everything's locked down, or will it be more like Times Square, which is a mashup of private and public spaces competing for attention? In other words, does anything go, and whatever makes either the biggest challenge with the Times Square is, guess what gets the highest attention? It's the shock value. The shock jock gets the most views, if not for people wanting to follow him, then for people abhorred by what he does. But nevertheless, as long as you're getting eyeballs in front of it, it sells money. And that's the problematic part. And then, so that's the Times Square model. Or is it the DC's National Mall, negotiated and controlled by government and private groups with competing political agendas, which basically turns into whoever's got the more cash gets to say what they want to say. So in other words, are we completely buried behind full-on censorship? Are we dictated by the corporatists and the oligarchs, or are we dictated by the big business pushing the things out? We don't have a good option here. That is an interesting thought. So we've long known the public square of the internet is more than just virtual space. It's where we go to hear the town crier tell us what the politicians won't, where we buy our groceries, and where we socialize with people from communities. So I think back to, of course, I'm a Christian, and I write extensively on my other channel on that direction, but I'm going to call attention to Paul on Mars Hill, as recorded in the book of Acts. And then people use this to justify running out into the streets. Like if you're down here in State College, go down to the Willard building on campus, and if you're a Penn State student, and I know some of you guys were at some point in time, you might be familiar with the Willard preacher. He sits out there outside of Willard Hall, and he screams and shouts about how all of these people, he'll literally point to random people in the crowd without knowing, you're going to hell, well, you're going to hell. It's like, dude, you don't know he's going to hell. You don't know what he's done with his life. You don't know if he's confessed Christ or not, you know. But he'll sit there, and he literally has what he calls his you're all going to hell scripture reading of the day. That's what he does. And so people have used this statement in Mars Hill from Acts. What Paul did going in there and preaching this out is this model of boldness, but the reality is things were different then. That's exactly how public discourse occurred. Anybody could go in and just shout out into the crowd. It was just the marketplace of that. We don't necessarily have that now, but we have that on the internet. And the reality is, if Paul was restricted because they just didn't like what he had to say, then the message wouldn't get spread around. Now, the reality is, I believe in sovereignty of God, and so another way would have been found. But outside of that, if you don't subscribe to those types of things, then it begs a question. In fact, if you don't subscribe to those things are bleaker than they are for me. For me, I know God's message is going to go out. So if I'm censored, that's fine. I'll just preach to the jail cell. That's okay. But at the same token, if you don't believe in that, and if you just believe it's all whatever, you should be deeply terrified by people restricting anybody's freedom to say something. And again, we're going to add the caveats. You know, freedom of speech does not mean you can go to a crowded theater and yell fire. Okay? And you can't go into a crowd and use freedom of speech as a pretense to tell people to go and hurt other people. That's always a problematic thing. But we're only talking about exchange of ideas. Okay? But the reality is this exchange of ideas is under fire. All right, so we go to hear the town crier tell us what the politicians won't, where we buy our groceries. Do you guys use farmers markets? You should use farmers markets wherever possible. And whether we socialize with other people from our communities. Whoever controls the town square controls how we experience day-to-day realities, and that power dynamic is shifting. And that's the reality, because if we are establishing a world where a series of gatekeepers in Silicon Valley dictate who says what, now we are raising some challenges. Okay, and that's what they're kind of saying. Politics of the internet shaped spaces. Let's see, we're going to skip that paragraph. All right, China's model of the internet combines private platforms, public ownership of wires, and heavy regulations on speech and data. Pardon me. All right. So, years of censorship, state-sponsored messaging, and distraction efforts, the development of a national internet ecosystem have enabled a Chinese government to foster many of the benefits of the internet: economic growth, access to information, increased productivity, and innovation, while maintaining more granular control of what circulates from words to images. In other words, complete, direct, refined control. And the reality is, Silicon Valley is trying to do that. Now, the Chinese government can do that as the governing body of the land, and that's in and of itself potentially a problematic issue, all right? But when these companies that otherwise control the internet start doing this, and it seems to be based on for political reasons or whatever else, that's a problem. Now, let's go ahead and discuss this whole private company bit. They're a private company. They can do what they want. Actually, operating in the United States for United States law, not necessarily. It depends on if they are a purveyor of content, like CNN or Fox, or if they are a platform for others to share their content. There is a distinct distinction. Woo, awesome. There is a major specific distinction between those two things. CNN or Fox as news organizations which have their own independent political leanings, they can say, Fox can say, I don't want that liberal guy to have that argument. It's too well thought out for our viewers, and it might convert people away from our talking points. So we're going to stop that from going out. Fox has the ability to do that because they are a content purveyor who have authority over their content. Facebook and Google and Twitter and these other platforms, they don't have that same authority. They can't pick and choose what goes on there because they are not the purveyors of content. They pronounce themselves as platforms, which gives them protection against what other people are saying. So if I use their platforms to do something that is wrong, illegal, hateful, whatever else, I can be held liable for it, but they cannot. What they want is the best of both worlds. They want to have the freedom to not be held accountable for what's on their platform, while at the same time they want to be able to tell people what's on the platform. In United States law, you can't do that. Okay. Now, this raises some questions about how do you behave as you move out of the United States, because the internet is not localized to a landmass. It is a global thing through digital wires. Do we have the same responsibility everywhere? And I would argue yes. If you would like to make your services available everywhere, then maybe you need to obey the laws everywhere. That's the thought. Now, of course, whose laws do you obey? That raises some questions. All right, so in contrast, Silicon Valley model of the internet is by and large painted more positively. Oh, hey, we're not as bad as China. It's combination of, and to be granted, there's some fairness. In China, I couldn't say Winnie the Pooh, I can't say that in China. That's a censored word. Winnie the Pooh is censored in China. Did you guys know that? Can't say Winnie the Pooh in China. I'm free to say Winnie the Pooh over here. In fact, I'm even free to come on here on YouTube, Google's platform, and talk about how bad Google is sometimes. So it's not all that bad yet. Yet. We're going to use that word yet. All right. So in contrast, Silicon Valley model of the internet is by and large painted more positively. Its combination of proprietary and open source platforms and components has given many upsides, such as helping foster movements that challenge dictators and giving under-resourced communities access to information and job networks. Under the hood, it's often a different story. Many technology companies have murky relationships with the NSA, and others recently lobbied to end net neutrality rules. So this means our freedoms are being eroded. All right. Turns out this view of the open internet has a range of challenges that can be just as censorous to speech. The same power that has enabled marginalized and oppressed voices to organize, spread information, and drive attention to their issues It's the same megaphone that enables government propagandists and hate groups to do the same. So this is what it is. Ooh, it's a hate group. We're going to get hate group, hate speech off of our platforms. And the reality is, hate speech is such a nebulous word, and it can be used and morphed. The only way I would get behind saying a deplatforming of hate speech is that we specifically define what is hate speech. Because with no specific definition, we have a changing definition that can be used to deplatform anybody for any reason. I mean, I already said in this stream earlier, I'm a Christian. If you find it offensive that I'm a Christian and you're like, hate speech, hate speech, hate speech, hey. That's why I speak about this kind of stuff. Because I don't just talk about Linux and technology and privacy. All right. Turns out this view of the open internet, let's see, got there. Okay, this has a devastating consequences that range from public health crisis to decreased trust in journalism to facilitating ethnic cleansing. In this way, the so-called open internet is more like open ocean, exciting and expansive until we remember the endless dangers that lie beneath its glistening surface. And yeah, absolutely. The open internet is a dangerous thing. That's why when the open internet first occurred, I mean, I'm part of the generation that we grew up without the internet. It didn't exist. I mean, it didn't exist. When I say it didn't exist, for all you guys, for all you young millennials that were, born after 2000, go, oh yeah, it existed for a long time. No, it didn't. The internet existed as an interconnection of a lot of high-end, very specialized computer labs, government systems. The internet was not really publicly available until the mid-90s, and even then it was so excessively rare. Most people didn't have it. Perpetual connected broadband internet did not hit mainstream in America until about the mid-2000s. That's how new the internet is. But you guys who were, toddlers when this expanse was going, and then you read the history books that the internet was created in the 70s, you're like, oh, what do you mean? No, the internet wasn't a thing, okay? I grew up without the internet. It wasn't a thing. In practical day-to-day life, it wasn't a thing. Until about the mid-2000s or so. That's when it was really popularized. Of course, people had websites going back earlier than that. But the reality is the internet is so new that when it first came out and we were first getting on the internet, it was a place of, you knew it was a giant black box that not only gave you access to the world, but gave the world access to you. And so you never put your real name on the internet. You never put... Cat's going crazy. You never put your real name on the internet. You never put your real address on the internet. You be very careful with anything that goes on the internet. And I was developing sites back in the late 90s. I had a little page on GeoCities, and I may have had a picture up there, but I didn't have any real information, And that's the way the internet was. And then social media came around and they convinced us that the internet should just be a place where we spew forth every bit of public data that there possibly is. All right. So that is the reality. So we have to be very careful that the internet not only gives us access to the world, it gives the world access to us. And it is a dangerous place. So what does the future of the internet hold? There's no denying that something is broken, but how do we fix it? What would an internet that truly supports democracies look like? Censorship is complex. That is also true. Protecting the right to free expression implies protecting expression and beliefs that we may find distasteful or morally offensive. At the same time, an internet rife with hate, misinformation, violence, propaganda is itself a censorous one, limiting speech by vulnerable and targeting groups through intimidation and confusion. So-called neutral platforms must reckon with the considerable resources and motivations of state-sponsored actors, hate groups, and other agents of disinformation to take over these spaces. My cat is going crazy right now. Cat, what are you doing? You are making a racket. You want to come up here and start making a racket? Come on. Come on. I don't know what you're doing, but you are making a ton of noise over there. You You are making a ton of noise. What are you doing? He's like, dude, I want to go. I want to go make more noise. All right. Kitty interlude. All right. So let's see. All right. In the open ocean of the internet, many groups will seek safe harbor and private chats and apps and smaller networks, not to mention blockchain-based and federated networks. Free from the above-mentioned dangers of the open internet. Whoa. Cat. He almost threw the monitor off the table. What are you doing? Here, lay over there. Sheesh. You're being crazy today. Is it a full moon? My cat's gone nuts. All right. Free from the dangers of the open internet, users will form small communities that don't interact with the larger whole or engage in shared discourse that democracies need. And that's also very true stuff, right? That's very true stuff. And this is one of my problems with Google and the way YouTube's doing its algorithms right now. Like, literally, like a year ago, I'd go in, I'd click the homepage here of YouTube, and I'd probably see a dozen videos I want to watch. Right now, there is nothing on this homepage I want to see. Nothing. Their algorithm has poisoned itself, and I'm finding myself more often than not, I'm just going back to my movie library and watching more movies lately instead of watching videos. Because I watched one video and then it just gives me hundreds of videos on the same topic. It's like, guys, I want to expand my mind. I don't want to narrow my perspective. I don't want to widen it. All right. And so with that being said, what we need to do is we need to look for different perspectives. And we can't do that if Silicon Valley is directing us through their algorithms to what they want us to see. And by the way, whether we're far right or far left, they don't care. What they care about is that we stay polarized and avoid what they're doing. All right. So let's see. At an international level, we are seeing a steady fracturing of the once imagined global village into global factions, each with their own ideas of what speech on the internet should look like. If things continue, our global internet will continue to, and I can't pronounce that word, balconize? Okay, balconize, with each country developing its own technical and legal infrastructure to enforce norms on speech and information. We are already seeing regions like the UK and Papua New Guinea propose alternate national social media platforms and Chinese government systems. Of course, we discussed that on Thursday. So the reality is there is a lot of play back and forth, and what ends up happening right now is that the reality is everything under the control of the Silicon Valley and algorithms and things. It is starting to, if not intentionally censor, it's starting to unintentionally do so. Now, a lot of it, unfortunately, is intentional. Like, how long before? I mean, even Twitter. Even was it Twitter? I think this last week, or was it last week? I think. They said, you know, if somebody insists on being called they and you continue to use the word hey, Twitter is now defining that as hate speech. What? I mean, that's insanity. Google is starting to remove specific pronouns, the traditional he, she pronouns from its AI suggestion. It's going with exclusively neutral ones. Well, what if they is offensive to me and I want to be a they? When will the Google AI figure that out and I'm a they? And if I ever see a he or a they, I'm just gonna go for blood. Because that's what these guys do. Try and conform the entirety of the world to what they want to do. And if you don't do it, whatever. So what we're getting to here is that the unfortunate reality is that whether it's Apple deplatforming people or Google or Patreon, we're seeing like PayPal's just going on ban crazy. PayPal's scaring the jeepers out of me right now. Holy moly. The type of things I'm seeing PayPal doing right now, it's like, whoa. But this is, you know, this is interesting. It's getting scary. Now, Forbes got into this. FTC must no longer ignore Silicon Valley bias. One of the most sinister manifestations of monopolies, wrote President Theodore Roosevelt in 2010, was their tendency to interfere with and dominate politics. And this is true. A monopoly, like, you know, everyone is either like almost everyone in the United States, outside of maybe 10 or 15%, everyone is either a Comcast or a Time Warner customer. These are monopolies. Now, they may not be total monopolies, but they are certainly regional monopolies. And if they just simply decide, hey, this XYZ word can't be spoken across our internet, that's it. If they want to simply push either the left or the right politics, they can just do it. Who's going to stop them? All right. And so in 2016, President Trump campaigned to invoke Roosevelt's trust busting when he promised to use antitrust laws against oligarchs that are destroying American democracy that depends on the free flow of information and thought. I unfortunately have to say, Trump, things are infinitely worse since you've entered office in this regard. You know, large mergers have occurred, and the telecoms got exactly what they wanted. The net neutrality is out. They have the freedom to do whatever they need on the internet. And this is made infinitely worse. The oligarchies and corporatocracies have completely thrived under your administration. Maybe it's time to go up on that. So on November 27th, Federal Trade Commission Chairman Joe Simmons responded to Senator Ted Cruz's question about the power of large internet companies to control speech online. He stated that he doubted the agency should be addressing it at all. So Chairman Simmons thought the FTC should only play a role if there were clear competition issues or unfair, or if it was unfair or deceptive. Fellow Republican Commissioner Noah Phillips made similar comments 2 weeks earlier. The chairman also likened Senator Cruz's suggestion that the agency consider censorship and political bias the FCC long defunct fairness doctrine. Yeah. Cat, stop. Lay down somewhere. Jeez. He's gone crazy. All right, so a more apt comparison to the FCC's former net neutrality rules. Isn't it funny? It's like everyone's like going crazy now. It's like, yeah, net neutrality would have taken care of a lot of this. Along with more complex economic regulations, prevented ISPs from blocking or slowing down content. Last year, FCC repealed the rule and transferred jurisdiction to the FTC. So basically, this went away with net neutrality to the FTC. The FTC says, oh, we don't care. In contrast to Simmons and Phillips, former acting FTC chairman Maureen Olson saw a role for the FTC to protect free speech online. She responded to claims that net neutrality was necessary to prevent ISP censoring by noting that antitrust enforcement can safeguard non-monetary goals like free speech. In May, Simmons similarly testified that the FTC has authority and capability in certain circumstances to prevent blocking and throttling by ISPs, which is akin to censorship and algorithmic shadow bans. Yep. Shadow bans, of course. There you go. That's exciting. All right. And concerns about the dominant platforms blocking free speech are well-founded, excuse me. In fact, many dominant platforms appear to block competitors who appeal to free speech-oriented consumers. For example, Google, which owns YouTube and controls 90% of the U.S. search market, does not display BitChute, a platform which appeals to consumers dissatisfied with YouTube's content restrictions in its video search function. Google may have a legitimate justification for this policy, but it certainly implicates competition policy. Additionally, of course, by the way, BitChute was under fire from PayPal this last week. I'm not sure if that got resolved or not, but PayPal cut off BitChute. Why? Because PayPal's a bunch of bullies right now, apparently. Additionally, Senator Cruz responded to Chairman Simmons. The tech platforms portray themselves as public and customers as neutral public forums, but are actively engaged in hidden censorship. Both Twitter and YouTube list free expression as part of the corporate mission. Facebook describes itself as an open platform for all ideas. However, all have fine print in their terms of service that allows them to remove content and users for any reason. FTC has sanctioned platforms for privacy violations for engaging in the same type of bait and switch. For example, in 2009, the agency filed a complaint against Sears for tracking password and credit card numbers of consumers, even though privacy statements on the license agreements explicitly acknowledged it could do this 75 lines down. Guys, read your terms and conditions. All right, but by the way, in 2009, people were having a hissy fit about Sears tracking what you did with your Sears credit card. Do you guys not realize that Google has access to almost all credit card data? Period. Carte blanche. So much so that they can track your purchases through your credit cards to your online advertising. And that's one of the things that they sell in their advertising. Do you guys realize that? FTC has no rulemaking authority. It cannot impose public utility status or quasi-First Amendment type regulations on Silicon Valley. Given that many complex antitrust and privacy questions in the digital age, the agency must tackle. Some reluctance to tackle politically polarizing issues is understandable. However, that's no excuse to turning a blind eye when dominant companies deceptively claim to be open platform and use their market power to exclude free speech competitions. Absolutely awesome. Hey, while this article is still free, I'm going to go ahead and paste that into the chat there, so you guys can see that. All right, so that is kind of what's going on. So why did I want to bring this up? Well, of course, PayPal kicked off BitChute and was it Minds or Gab? I forget which one. Of course, this last day or two, we saw Milo and James Allsup kicked off of Patreon, which some of those, I'm not sure about who those guys are. There was some weird minor justification, but it's not like the first person, is it Sudden something, who got kicked off of Patreon. The first person was literally using Patreon money to buy Molotov cocktails and flares and literally attack people. I can understand kicking that person off because it moves way beyond having a public discourse. But these guys are just words. But the most curious one of all is Sargon of Akkad, who I would not agree with him politically, but he's a classical liberal. By saying classic liberal, that's just the branch of politics he's into, but that's what he does. He is simply a classic liberal. Same group as Computing Forever, who I do follow, and some other guys as well. The guy is like, I've seen him talk enough. I've seen him in a lot of things. I don't follow his channel, but I've watched several of his talks, whether they be public ones or just YouTube videos, whatever. That he's a gentleman. He actually is. I mean, I don't know much about the guy. I could be completely wrong. But this guy he's simply addressing calmly his point. I've seen him in major, places where people are getting hostile to him, and he can just turn around with soft words. And the problem is he irritates people. He irritates people because he can put an SJW in a pretzel with his words. He was deplatformed from Patreon. Why? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But this is happening. And then once one of them occurs, a whole lot of them snowball and follow suit. We saw it happen with nearly everyone who's been deplatformed. These guys are literally controlling the internet. They don't like what you say. They can just kick you off. It's like, oh, you don't like the platform, create a new one. Well, that's what Gab did. And they were kicked off their host. They were kicked off their payment platforms. They were kicked off their social. I mean, guys, we have a serious systemic problem here. We can't go create your own thing. Especially with the erosion of the net neutrality rules, you try and create a streaming service to compete with Netflix. If you're not a multi-billion-dollar global national corporation, you're not going to succeed. Guys, Google can't break into the ISP market because Comcast and Time Warner have too tight of an oligarch control. Google cannot break into the ISP market, people. Say that to yourself a couple of times. That is how bad this is getting. We can't just go create a new platform. Maybe on an individual level. So, of course, I am on Patreon until they decide to kick me off. I don't know. But I also have my own homebrewed system called Think Life Media. ThinkLifeMedia.com. Of course, unfortunately, I rely on payment processors like PayPal. So if any one guy in Silicon Valley decides to deplatform me, even that's going to go temporarily. You can still mail me a check. I mean, really, that's how bad this is getting, man. That's how bad this is getting. We've got a serious systemic problem, and what we need is we either need more clear laws about what Silicon Valley can do, or simply start putting in, I don't know the solution. I mean, I don't really exactly have one, other than the fact of be a lot of places so that when you get deplatformed from one place, you can at least be found on another. I mean, really. That's the type of thing that that we need to do. So that's a scary thing. That is a very, very scary thing. Very, very scary place to be. And so that's kind of what I want to say about that. Let's go ahead and have a look at our comments. Too much fire, not enough tinfoil. Maybe I need more tinfoil. Is that one application uses CST? Client-side title bars such as Office 2010 and Photoshop have issues being stuck with maximized state on KWin. Hello, Thomas Holt. Greetings. I am doing well. I think CJ's going crazy, though. Claimed they did in a foreign land many years ago. Yep. Only illegal people to encryption. So I guess that means Apple staff, Google staff, Microsoft staff, the list goes on, are all terrorists or doing illegal stuff. Yep. Well, they probably are. You know. People really believe that point of view. They might actually lose faith in all of them. Greetings, Louie. How's it going there? How is YouTube a search engine? It is a search engine, dude. A lot of people, like, I mean, think of it this way. If I want to know how to fix a kitchen sink, I'm not going to search that on Google. I'm going to search that on YouTube because I'd like to kind of see some video about it. That's why. You know, how do you fix XYZ part on your car? You'd search that for YouTube rather than Google, because Google might give you forums and places to buy car parts. You actually need to know how to do it. So that's kind of the point. For you, Google now lists diseases, mental illnesses as an instant answer for how to solve it. Oh, Lord, that's exciting. Pretty sure that Steve is doing a lot. Salsa's a bit more conservative. Yeah, when's Solace 4 coming out? Anybody know when Solace 4 is coming out? Excuse me. That's a frog. Woo. Had Kermit the Frog last night for dinner, and he's coming back up. All right. Shot for living outside the norm. Yep. Empires were still a thing back then. Greetings, Key1. How's it going there? Next week or so. Hidden danger equals non-progressive belief. There you go. Does it give any noteworthy benefit? I forgot what we're talking about by that point in time. Which noteworthy benefit are we asking about? Have you seen the petition to give Alex Jones his own White House press credentials? I have not. That would be interesting, though. No guesswork. There are different branches. What's in neon? Okay. Didn't mention less resources. Uses will be less. Greetings, Babbler. How's it going there? Crypto Valley in Sweden, I think. I think the next Silicon Valley. Blockchain fintech. Chairman to the bear. Yes. Yes, it is illegal to say Winnie the Pooh in China because their chairman is offended by it. Yeah. Walking the Silk Road. People would be amazed at what one could do with a connection. Yeah. Yeah, the good thing about Silicon Valley is their authoritarian ways will force us to make Internet 2.0. That's right. It's called Tor. As a millennial, I found that offensive. Just kidding. Of course. Find your existence offensive. Uh-oh. Jokes aside, you did generalize a little too much with that interpretation of what millennials are like. Not really. There are definitely, like, you're an exception to the clause. There are a number of exceptions to the clause. I think the Millennial Party falls under, the Millennial Party itself is extreme. On the one hand, you have extreme hard workers who are quite amazing, and on the other extreme, you have, like, lazy, entitled Fruit Loops. But every time I talk about the internet and all this kind of stuff, you know, it's the young kids in the crowd. They keep on going like, "Oh no, the internet was created back in the 70s." Yeah, you weren't alive in the 70s. Just might have existed in a few like high level military and research labs at computer places with text boards, but it wasn't the internet. Difference. Silicon Valley is arbitrary. Its moderation is. Why is X banned? Who knows? Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm still waiting for somebody to send me examples of what exactly was Alex Jones doing to incite hate. He did untasteful things. But, I mean, it's literally 1984. Oh, he was engaged in hate speech. What hate speech? We can't tell you. It's too hateful. Used it until I had Windows 95. Didn't have the internet until 2000, 2002-ish. Yep. I used DOS. Yep. GeoCities was the jam. Yeah, GeoCities. Oh yeah. Were you ever? I wonder if we visited the same GeoCities pages. Ooh. Posted you a link below to your social score video. Thank you. Yes, we talked about the social score in China on Thursday with the Patreon crew. Okay, no such thing as hate speech. Supreme Court ruled against there's no such thing as hate speech. Then there was Facebook, yeah. A decentralized open source internet built on blockchain tech, yeah. Kitty's trying to censor you. Yeah, the cat goes crazy for Catter Day. That's right. The resistance is futile. Yeah. Addiction to World of Warcraft isn't good either. WoW? Wow. Or I guess that's World of Warcraft, isn't it? Okay, is making Joker Whoosh, played Warcraft 3 back in the... Hey man, I still like Warcraft 3. That's an epic game. Although they killed... Like, the last couple updates have just completely killed the game. I don't know what in the world Blizzard is up to, but man, it's nothing good. Let off the kitty treat. CJ must be suffering from a drop. Kitty? Oh, you want to be good now? You want to come up here and be good? Just don't knock my monitor off the table again, all right? I don't want to see my monitors flying all over the place, all right? Okay? Yeah? Okay. Come on. Turn on. There you go. Everyone who started the internet on AOL knows what controlled content is. Oh, yeah. And that's what Facebook wants to basically create, like an AOL type thing. I don't want you over there, cat. Here. Lay right there. There you go. See, you can lay there and be a good cat. That's an okay cat. See, that's a good cat. All right. There you go, kitty. More cat. I identify as a pizza. Well, where's Pizza Lovin' Nerd? Pizza Lovin' Nerd identifies as a pizza. Google is replacing he and she on Google Translate with both. Yep. Identify as an Arch user. There you go. What is PayPal doing? Oh, just deplatforming people left and right, in kind of scary, crazy ways. No, Farron OS identifies as a teen boy. All right, there you go. Not a teenage unicorn. Used PayPal twice. Both times someone has hacked into my account and trying to get money. Huh. PayPal. Oh, yeah. PayPal's purging a lot of people. They're purging who they think are hate groups and people. BitChute, Gab.ai. I mean, just all sorts of people. There's a number of them. I've forgotten the list, but yeah, I've never really had an issue with PayPal either. Of course, I use that for various business things. Great. I mean, I think it's a fine service. All right. Basically, the internet is not a free speech forum. Nope. It's hard to reserve or counter technological. Quint identifies as a tux. It's the tux master. All right. It's what you believe. Okay. I identify as a Linux kernel. There you go. Nothing is free. There is always a cost. People use me, and that's abuse. No more Linux for any of you. What? Do I even want to know what emoji you put? Oh, it's a tongue. All right. All right. Identify as the contributor covenant. Well, I RMRF'd you. Adopt me or else. There you go. Identify as free software. There you go. You guys find it funny that like to engage in society, you have to have a bank account. To have a bank account, you have to agree to their lengthy terms of service that you can't possibly read. Next time I go into a bank to get an account and they make me read the terms of service, I'm going to say, would you order me a pizza? This is going to be a while. I'm going to go through, I'm going to start reading it line for line. I haven't seen pizza on the stream yet. Hello, Jesse Crypto. Greetings. Gabs and Minds, I think. Yep. Google didn't let me Google on how to fix Android messages. Hearts are gone. All right. Run across people who do not see reality all the time. As much as we need more ISPs, Google wouldn't be on my list of companies to try. Yeah. I was like, I might take Google over Comcast. I might. Maybe, yeah. Saddle Ridge. Good reading, Saddle Ridge. Corporation goals are not in line with our customers. Yes. Koyo, greetings. Bad thing is you have to create a Google account to be in this chat. That is correct, which is very unfortunate. But you can create a Google account with fake data. You have to obey the First Amendment. That's how you solve the Fourth and the Fifth. There doesn't seem to be any true privacy anymore. Yeah, Saddle Ridge actually balances her life. You know, does real things and stuff, and then shows up here when there's time to kill. Like editing books. I have her busy editing a book. Thank you, Saddle Ridge. I got it in the mail. I haven't opened it up to look yet. Saddle Ridge, what do you think about putting study questions at the end of each chapter of that? Let me know. It's hard to set credit card payments directly instead of using PayPal or others. Well, it's hard to accept a credit card. The reason I use PayPal is because it allows me a free way to accept a credit card payment. So PayPal takes 3%, like 3.2%, which is certainly more than it's more than I would get going at a traditional credit card processing account. But the traditional credit card processing account has a monthly fees attached to it, and there's I might go 3 or 4 months without needing to process a credit card. So I use PayPal for that. It's worth the extra fee with the number of clients that I have paying credit cards versus paying me checks. Cells 4 is coming out. The checkbox are all marked. Okay. So I guess Cells 4 is right around the corner, I guess. All right. A point of view that millennials are like, mostly Tom, although there are, again, the 90s people could be kind of close, also have their negative extremes. Yes. That is true, but our negative extremes were not nearly as crazy negative. Yep. Alex Jones hated frogs. Just gay frogs. He just hated gay frogs. For email, I use Tutanota. It's like Proton Mail, but cheaper and easier to set up. I hate snakes. Is that hate speech? Yes. Oh, Ryan thought what I was thinking. All right. That makes you a slitherophobe. All right. All right. Alex Jones was a Sandy Hook truther, but as one guy said in the New York Times, they could be handled with libel and slander laws, which are well defined, unlike hate speech. Correct. Yep. Palmolive from last night. Hello, Mark. Greetings. We think of Epic Games making their own store. I don't know anything about it. I really don't follow gaming news, but I'll look into it. I don't know. What, Mark? You've got mail. What? You've got mail. World was Warcraft was my favorite game. Yep, there you go. Use Arch, by the way. All right, very good. All AAA published don't know what they're doing, not just Blizzard. Oh, no. They know exactly what they're doing. You rush out, you build a ton of hype around a game, you rush it out incomplete, and then you spend the next 3 or 4 years selling the patches to continue your money. They know exactly what they're doing. Good evening. What's my opinion on Deepin, please? I would avoid it like the plague because of the EULA that they are forcing you to bind to, and it is a nebulous, unclear EULA, which basically says they have full power of interpretation of that EULA and binds you to be beholden to the People's Republic of China, and even contains language about the software is not supposed to be distributed outside of China, despite it's very clearly and publicly dispersed outside of China. So I would avoid it. I think it's weird. If you want to try the Deepin desktop, there's ways to install Deepin on other things. Of course, there's a Manjaro Deepin community build that works just fine. And I've seen ways to install on other distros as well. As far as the Deepin OS, though, I'm not a fan of it because of what they did with the EULA, which is a stark turnaround because when I ran it for a month, I actually thought it was a good system. I thought it was a very good distro. But when you start doing the crazy things, it's not the fact it has a EULA, it's the fact that how crazy the EULA is and the terminology that's in it. So I did a video looking at the concerns about that about a week or so ago. So that's my thoughts on Deepin. Kind of funny, someone was Weeb in chat and jokingly mentioned Weeb stuff and identified as a, yeah, okay. Identify as a Linux user. That's right, Louis. Louis is a Linux user. All right, but are you on Linux right now? Ooh. I identify as a teenage transgender girl, and that is the truth. All right, there you go. Okay, can we just ban Facebook from the internet? There you go. There you go. Whoa, Tom, calm down there. I think thinking an emoji is worse than it is. Yeah, I'm telling you. Hey, it was a nebulous emoji. Article 13 to happen. It only hits the big corporations. Everyone who's small and self-hosting will be left out. Yes. Well, good. I'll just use my YouTube videos, leave out stuff, and just point people to my website and do my Article 13 violations over there. How's that? I'm going to delete this one because we try and keep the content family friendly. Just remove. All right. All right. Okay. Linux user does not want Article 13 to happen. Yep. Kitty is reading the comments. Yes, Kitty is reading the comments. Good. You reading the comments, Kitty? Yeah. All right. Fairnos Dev user should host self-host then. Yeah. To prevent many copyright issues possible that can't be held responsible as a peer. I use Square. Okay. Help you edit your book, or can we collaborate? I think I have all of the editors I need for this one for now. I actually was never fond of study questions, but that's just me. All right. I'm not a huge fan of them either, but a couple of my other beta readers said, wow, this really needs some study questions to drive points home. I'm thinking I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to add a couple study questions in it. If I had a website and only like 10 people use it, I wouldn't care if someone would upload copyrighted material. Well, you're only safe though. Like you have if you run a website, you have the legal obligation to take it down unless it's behind a paywall. So the only way you could allow that and not take it down, because if somebody says this is my copyrighted material, if it's publicly available and they say this is my copyrighted material and you refuse to take it down, you are now held liable for it. So the only way that that is safe is if you were to put it behind a paywall or at least a login wall. Does anyone know how to get multi-monitor working on Arch Guest in VirtualBox? Ooh, no. Really realize you got it wrong with the real effects it's going to bring. Yep. Basically, I mean, in fact, Spain did something very much like Article 13, and Google pulled out, and all the news industries got a big decline because nobody was finding the news articles. Because guess what, guys? Most people don't hang out on CNN and Fox News homepages. I only land there if there's an article I find in a search or a reference somewhere else that points me there. But that's just me. Hello, Anna Rita. Greetings. How's it going there? People will care for YouTube more than self-hosting platforms. Monopolies will fail if people realize their products are crap. No, they won't. And that's the problem. That's the problem with monopolies. It doesn't matter if their stuff is crap. You don't have a choice. That's the problem. Vine died because it was crap, obviously. No, actually, it was kind of deplatformed. Release a game that's incomplete. No, I mean nearly every game in a long time. Super chat from Jerry. How's it going there, Jerry? Thank you for that super chat. All right, TikTok is basically Vine mixed with Musical.ly. Yep. Backed, by the way, by a Chinese AI data analytics firm. That's frightening. Yeah, Fallout 76, amongst its controversy, leaked private user data. Whoops. CJ is having a stare down with the monitor screen. Yep, he's just like, dude, I'm watching this go. He's not looking at the monitor screen. I'm playing with him with the mouse cursor. He doesn't see it. I think he's looking down. He's just loving his time. He's engaging in his Buddha arts, trying to use the Force to get that Temptations bag to open up. That's what he's trying to do. Thanks for your opinion. No problem, man. Of course, encourage anybody to check it out for themselves, though. Knuckles are bloody. You punched someone? No, it was a run-in with my bed. The bed frame needed some adjustments. It got me. China doesn't recognize any other laws and arrest the CEO of extradition to the U.S. is illegal. Stay away from DPEN. Yeah. This is about Sargon and Patreon. We mentioned that a little bit. We did two articles about censorship in Silicon Valley, and then we mentioned Sargon of Akkad and Patreon. Nope, no problem. There's another bad comment I couldn't see because YouTube doesn't show me the whole chat. Yeah, I'm telling you. Wonder how Article 13 will deal with PeerTube if PeerTube gets large. Well, to my understanding, Article 13 deals with the size of a company. So if a company reaches that size limit, then it's going to have a certain number of days to comply with the law. If they say PeerTube in general, I would laugh because I'd say, which PeerTube? There you go. Yeah, once again, thank you, Jerry, for the super chat. Got $2 for 10. 10 for 2. I don't know. It's a 10 for 2 deal, or it's a 2 for 10 deal. We need a free tube channel, one that doesn't ban conservatives. Actually, BitChute generally doesn't. I think the only thing BitChute bans is something that is like objectively illegal in most nations. I don't know. It's I did read their terms, and I think that BitChute's one, but of course PayPal's doing battle with BitChute right now. So I don't know. The problem is like, what do you do? Like, it's like killing BitChute though. Is like, how do you kill cancer? You just don't. Need a server and social media located in a neutral country similar to Switzerland. Yeah. Cat is beaming its thoughts directly into the internet. Yep. Yes, he is. There are a few countries selling their extensions like .tv. Isn't PeerTube decentralized? I don't know. I don't know much about PeerTube. I need to look into PeerTube. All right. Well, let's go ahead and feed the kitty, and then we'll hang out until the comments run dry. But they're kind of running dry now, but we'll see. Ooh, kitty. Don't moon anybody. Kitty, sit down here. Don't moon anybody. All right? We don't want to see that part of the cat. All right? We want to see the cute part of the cat, not the ugly part of the cat. All right, buddy. There you go. Ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, buddy. Let's see some... let's turn this. Let's see some heavy paw action, buddy. Right here, buddy. See some heavy paw action. Or some face action. One of the two. Go on. Get your paw in there. Go on, buddy. Get your paw in there. Go for it. Oh, yeah. He's like, I'm going in there. Going straight in there with the face. Right here. Right here. There you go. And we will do one more for the other camera. Over here, over here, over here, over here. There you go. Yeah, so good. Are the finger looking good? Yeah, they're... No, that's it. You're done. You're done. Here, you got 2 fingers left to lick, though. There you go. Your finger looking good? Here, get that one. Here, that one. Yeah. Yes. And he's like, all right, got my treats. I'm out of here. Later, yo. You fair weather friend. You fair weather friend. Fair weather friend. All right, going off the desk. I don't like you up here. Go on. Go on. There you go. He's a fair weather friend indeed. Soon enough, the sane internet will take some cues from the illegal market and be hosted entirely on bulletproof hosting. Yeah. 66 watching, only 29 thumbs up. Yeah, we got 55 watching right now. Brighton only real.video, as far as I know, only bans copyright infringing material. I'm going to write these ones down. Brighton, that is. I've never seen that one. All right. Whatever happened to the .com guy? Who's the .com guy? After Kitty reads the comment, she moons us. Apparently that's what she thought of this chat. Woof. Well, that one's a he. Video idea for your web content. Picking hosts that don't deplatform you. Pfft, good luck with that. I would probably just avoid the big ones. Avoid anything by EIG and avoid GoDaddy, as GoDaddy has seemed to deplatform a number of people. One thing to do if you're into controversial content is always keep regular site backups. So if somebody deplatforms you, you have a way to get back up somewhere else. PeerTube is an open source, completely decentralized alternative. Yeah, I need to look into PeerTube as well. I have looked into BitChute. Love the kitty. All right, I love the kitty too. Real question of the day is how to get a real or fake Christmas tree. I don't know. Do you like the lovely scent of pine enough to clean up the needles, or do you just want something you can buy once and just keep using for the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or whatever? Fake means you can save it for next year, and the next, and the next. Yep. I have a Hello Kitty Christmas tree. All other trees are invalid. All right. He had his own servers and got busted. Fake means I have to store it. Yes, that is the downside. Fake ones don't have the dry out issue, so you don't need to be wary with electricals or when it's dry. I was requested to get a small tree this year for the granddaughter is here. So I'm going to whack some branches off my Canadian hemlock tree. There you go. PeerTube can also run self-hosted. All right. Yeah, I know Kim.com. I don't know. I don't follow him. 22,000. Congrats. All right. Today's Randall's birthday. Oh, man. Bummer. I don't have my birthday screen on this one. Where's my birthday screen? Let me see if I can find a birthday screen. I have my birthday screen on my other ones. I don't seem to have it on this one, though. There it is. All right. Well, if it's your birthday, we like to say happy birthday to you. I hope that you have a wonderful birthday indeed. All right, now I got to change my intro video back so I don't launch the video next time with like I'll be launching my intro and I see a big happy birthday screen like oh, happy birthday to me. I don't know. GoDaddy is horrid. Oh, truer words have never been spoken. I think GoDaddy is the purveyor of the next zombie apocalypse. We have a client that they keep on like activate website security. I'm like, no, this is just a scammy sham thing. For like $1,600, and I've taken the thing out of there multiple times, and I keep on getting an email from the client. He's like, "What should we do this?" I'm like, "No, it's the zombie. Double tap it, quick." DTube is another alternative, which is blockchain based. I prefer BitChute though. Yeah, DTube. I forgot to look into that one. All right. Used to know a lady who kept an artificial tree up year-round and just decorated it for each holiday as they came up. There you go. That works. Wife want a fake tree. I want a real one. We have kids. I like making memories, finding the right one, cutting it down, and bringing it home. Uh-oh. Okay, so Tom, I see you are fixing your bed. So does that mean you're now sleeping in it? Hey, every now and again. Every now and again. Your wife is allergic, then get a fake one. There you go. Get a fake one. They make Christmas ornaments that are pine scented. There you go. Rule number 2, double tap. That is right, guys. That is right. Double tap GoDaddy's crappy add-on stuff. I have a Christmas tree. Those ones you can put on a table and people ask, where do you place your gifts? And say, we do not do gifts, easy. Yeah, there you go. And that's, you know, I have a little one. I haven't put it up in several years, but I do actually have a little artificial Christmas tree somewhere. I should either start using it or get rid of it. You know, one of the two. I don't know. Fake ones can be disassembled and stored easily in Rubbermaid bins with ornaments. Yes. All right, let's see if there's any final thoughts. If you're looking for some... All right, looking for some shopping ideas. I think they changed things. I used to have a logo up there. It's not there anymore, but anyway, you can come over here to shop.switchedtolinux.com and you can pick up a merchandise if you are interested in so doing. That does remind me, I was going to tell you guys about if there's any sales going on. I do need to update the Think Life Media stream. I'm sorry about that, Quint. I forgot to update that this month. See if I can find it. All right, what's the day today? Is the 8th. All right, so at the shops, so that would follow mine. There is 15% off all clothing, which is 10th and 11th, using the coupon code WINNER18. Get you 15% off clothing. And actually, that's the last sale through December. In January, we have a 19% off everything from the 8th to the 12th with sale 19. We have a free shipping 29th, 129 through 2. And I will have those up on Think Life Media. I should put those up on Patreon too, as long as they don't deplatform me. But all right. All right. And also, let me double check. Yeah, I don't have time to double check if that's still live. It should still be live through the rest of today. But I am doing a giveaway through Amazon of my book, Testing and Temptations. If you have not signed up for that, you need a United States Amazon account, but you can follow the link there. That is a free giveaway of a copy of Testing and Temptations. Last I knew, I think the giveaway ends today. I think there's 2 or 3 left yet to give away, so you can go check out that link as well if you'd like a free copy of that book. And I'm paying all of the shipping, all of the everything. It should be absolutely free to you. If it's not, let me know, but it should be absolutely free to you. You better be. I paid all the expenses already. All right. Does the term nativity mean? Are you talking about like Christmas nativity? It means the nativity scene, which is the Christmas decoration with the manger scene that Jesus was born in a manger on Christmas Eve is the view. Of course, he wasn't born on Christmas. The wise men did not show up there. So it's completely wrong, but it is the nativity scene, if that's what you're talking about. Is the scene depicting the birth of Jesus with the wise men in the stable and all this kind of stuff on Christmas. So that's what it is. Have you ever tried Netrunner Debian Edition? I'm not sure if I have. All right. Well, I think we are at the bottom of the comments, so we are going to go ahead and wrap this guy up. Native to this world? Yeah, nah, native. I mean, native is a whole. The word native is natural. That's what it means. All right, well, anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So thanks for coming along, guys, and I hope to see you on the next one. Tomorrow, we are going to be doing a brief video about how to put GNOME on top of Linux Mint 19. So you can have a look at that. And back to top 5s on Monday. I'm not sure what I'm going to do over there yet, but we'll catch you guys later.